no Jedi.
Your powers are weak, old man.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
Hello there.
General Kenobi! You don't know the power of the dark side.
And welcome back to Disciples of the Force. I'm your host, Spencer, and I'm here with my good buddy, Austin. How you doing, Austin?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Oh, Jake, better now that I'm with you, huh?
Oh, jeez. Thank you, man.
Before we start, I just want to give a huge thanks to our listeners. We're growing. We're small, but we're growing. You know, and it just really means a lot to us that you guys are sticking around and telling your friends about us. Word of mouth is huge, you know. And also, you know, if you were listening to our podcast and you were spreading some hate on the TikToks, really bummed us out, man. So stop that. And if you see it, stop it.
Here's the thing. I think there are people who see our TikToks, and because we just have kind of inflammatory clicks or clips, they just see those, don't listen to the podcast, then hate on it. I think our real listeners, those 400 or so of you, right? We're up to 400.
Yeah, 400.
We really appreciate all of you, and you know what we're saying. So yeah, share us around, like Spenny said.
Yeah, so for real, thank you for listening. It means a lot to us. We love doing this podcast anyways. So, but Austin, we got a huge week for Star Wars news. So let's get into it, huh?
Yeah, man. In hindsight, we usually record on Thursdays or Wednesdays sometimes. We probably should have recorded on Friday last week, like right when all this stuff was coming out of Star Wars Celebration. But
yeah,
that's all right. Bunch of good news. So I'll start with the movies, because we were just talking about that a couple weeks ago. Where are the Star Wars movies? And we had a pretty strong inclination going into this Star Wars Celebration that we were going to get at least one movie announcement. So 3 with some pretty definite timelines is great. So they announced them chronologically, how they happen in the Star Wars universe. So the first one that was announced is a story about the first Jedi, and that takes place, I think, 25,000 years before A New Hope is what they said, which will just be awesome. A whole new chapter in the Star Wars canon. I know that all of that was explored in the EU and all that stuff, but in canon, this will be the furthest back we've ever gone. So it'll be awesome to see how they do that. Then they announced the Mandoverse movie that is going to be headed by Dave Filoni. Oh, and do you remember the name of the director for that last one? It's Mangold, right? Mangold.
that sounds
James
right.
Mangold. He directed things like Logan. So it's in good hands with him, I think. And it sounds like that'll probably release in, my guess is like 2027. Because there's still a date open for next year, the end of 2024, but there's just no way.
Yeah, no way.
So the next movie is the culmination of the Mandoverse characters and story, is kind of how they pitched it. So Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Mando, all those stories will be coming together and apparently ending. That's set for release in 2026. That's going to be headed and directed by Dave Filoni. We love him, you know, so
Love our baby.
that'll be great. One thing I was thinking is, like, that's kind of soon, you know? So
I know.
there must only be one season of Ahsoka, maybe 2, for it to all culminate in 2026. We'll see. And then the final movie they announced was The Return of Rey Skywalker.
Boo.
Bum, bum, bum.
Boo.
Hey, listen. Don't hate on it. I am of the school of thinking that they should leave the sequels and their characters alone. They should just tell new stories. That being said, I think they've taken a long enough break from movies. They've taken a step back. Disney has, and Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni, all of them. They've restructured all of Star Wars since the release of Rise of Skywalker. So I'm hopeful for this movie. I liked Daisy Ridley as an actress. I didn't love the character of Rey. So it'll be cool to see her character kind of mature and usher in the new Jedi Order. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
I genuinely think I'll like it. I don't know how the rest of the world will take it, but that's set for release very soon in 2025. So only 2 years out, which is crazy. Because
real quick.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say that's the last thing I expected going into Star Wars Celebration. Another sequels era movie. And it'll be set 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker, but still, that's crazy.
I know. It is. I don't know. I mean, I have hopes, but they're low. They're low. They're not very high hopes.
Okay.
Because it's like, I don't know. Are they going to try to build off of that once they make that? I don't know. We'll see. I just think the sequel should die. Unless they take, something with George's original sequels. If they run with that, then I'd be interested. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, I was going to ask you real quick before we keep going on the news. Of the 3 that we just talked about, which one's your fave? Which one's you most excited for?
I've got to say the James Mangold First Jedi one.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm super excited.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Because, I mean, that's what we've been talking about every week that we've done this pod is like, we just need something new, something that's, far and away from the Skywalker saga. And that's exactly what we were asking for. So,
asking you shall receive, awesome. Baby.
That's right. I'm a little worried about the Mandoverse movie just because the way this season of The Mandalorian has gone for the most part, and this week was a bit of redemption. I have some repenting to do. But for the most part, I think I'm starting to like these characters less and less with every, show that's introduced about them. So I don't know how much I'll love the movie, but like we've talked about before, bigger budget, more time to do it. They'll be great and fleshed out, I think. But still, if I had to rank it, James Mangold, First Jedi, Rey Skywalker movie, Mandoverse. Yeah.
I would just flip those last 2 for me. Interesting, but
very interesting.
We'll see at the end. All right, keep going.
See. Okay, and then a bunch of show news, and we can just kind of rifle through these. New Ahsoka trailer was shown to us, to the public. Looks pretty horrible. I won't mince words. Visually, it just looks bad, but it looks exciting. It looks great. What do you think?
Visually, it does not. I mean, when I watched it, I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude?" But, and then we at first we had some beef with the orange saber, and then Dave Filoni explained it. Still, I think we should have kept it crimson red. They just look cool that way, but whatever, right? I don't know. It just looked. There's parts that didn't look so good. And then Hera, she didn't look amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, you thought she was going to be hot, which is just...
Yes, I was hoping.
Maybe stop being so shallow. You know who plays Hera? Who's going to play Hera in live action?
Who?
Ewan McGregor's wife.
No way.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
You're capping. There's no way.
Let's see. Okay, I'm going to look real quick. Live action, Hera. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Command C. Command V, husband. Ewan McGregor, married in 2022.
Wow.
So,
all right.
A recent one.
We'll see.
So, have some faith in her, dude. If she's hot enough for Obi-Wan, she's hot enough for you. Eat it,
That's
dude.
true. That's a very good point. I didn't think of that.
But at Star Wars Celebration behind closed doors, I have no idea why they freaking do that. They showed an extended version of that trailer that showed Thrawn. I was going to say Lars Mikkelsen is Thrawn, but I mixed him. So that's great. I don't know what. Get a text from my boy. Yeah, I don't know why they show trailers behind closed doors. Like, makes no sense to me at all. But like Disney, they're going to be leaked. Here's the thing: people are going to film them in bad quality, release them to the internet. Why not just put your best foot forward and release them how you want to release them, or just not show a secret version at Star Wars Celebration? I guess it's incentive to
they want people to
rooms,
go.
But
still
anyway.
Dumb.
2 more big shows: The Acolyte, which I saw a little poor quality version of that. It looks stellar. looks better than the actual version of Ahsoka. So great stuff there. I'm excited for that. Oh man, I just can't tell you how excited I am. Season 2 of Andor. Also, we got an announcement. They had a panel, and there was a trailer for that. We didn't get to see much of it because that was behind closed doors, but it looks better. They're still filming that second season, I think, or at least it's still like in post-production, and they had a trailer for it, and that looks better than the Ahsoka trailer. I know I sounded like a hater recently on all the Dave Filoni projects, but there's just something visually missing. I'm a big visual guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway,
you made a good
season
point.
2 of Andor look good.
Real quick, I just wanted to say the point you made the other day that made sense is like, Dave started with animation, and so maybe it's just him going to film and live action. It just doesn't really translate very well because, when you said that the other day, I was like, that's a good point. That's probably why sometimes he doesn't maybe care. I don't want to say he doesn't care because clearly he cares, but maybe that's why we feel like there's something missing because he's, comes from animation.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's how he wants it to look. But then I saw this interview that he did years and years ago of when he was working with George on the Clone Wars, and they were trying to get like this, I can't remember what episode or what, but it was a scene where like these gunships come in and it's a Republic invasion of a planet. And George like sent them home with homework and said, go watch all these war movies and then just take clips from those war movies and render them in the animation and it'll look great. And they did that and it looks awesome. So like Dave knows the power of a film medium transferring into animation. You would think he knows how to transfer animation to film, but that's not for us to say. He revived Star Wars, so we can't complain too much.
He's daddy. He's daddy too. So
he's daddy too. Visions trailer we got that's coming out May 4th. Visions season 2. I know you didn't love that very much. The first one, right? You didn't love the first season.
There was just parts of it I didn't love, but I did love there was some really good episodes at the same time. So it was just kind of it was a lot more hit and miss, not like so as a whole. It wasn't like, but this one has a lot of. It's not just. Correct me if I'm wrong, but before that was all like anime ones, right? In the studios, and this has a bunch of different because there's like claymation, right?
Yeah, claymation, stop motion. Yeah, looks great.
It looks cool. I'm excited. It'll be good.
What I love about Visions is it's not canon, so you don't need to be stressed, Like you can explore the Star Wars galaxy and everything. You don't have to be worried about them ruining one of your favorite characters and maybe I'm just too worried about that, but that's what I love about Visions. It's just cool and you get to see it in a lot of different ways.
It's fun. It's fun and light. It's bubbly.
Yeah. Bad Batch third and final season coming next year, confirmed. Which that'll be crazy.
That'll be good.
Third and final. I mean,
that's crazy.
I guess it wouldn't make sense to keep going, but there's so much potential. I mean, maybe there's not. Maybe I was talking to my buddy today, and my buddy who I talk about every episode, who I just told to listen to this, but we were talking about some shows that like overstay their welcome and go a little bit too long. And so I'd rather have them end early than kind of
too long,
bleed it dry. Yeah.
I 100% agree. I think if I had a choice, I'm always going to take that because it sucks watching it. Like, okay, you're just milking it. But I was going to ask, timeline wise, I guess that makes sense though, because it's pretty close. They're getting pretty close to, maybe not. Cause when we saw, Kanan, he was pretty young in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So I guess that's actually a long time because he's pretty old in Rebels.
Yeah, I would say they're probably like still like 16 BBY or 66 was 20 BBY, right? And so they've probably been on the run at least 2 or 3 years at this point, given like Omega's change from season 1 to season 2. But we don't know. Really. Yeah,
well, let's see. All right.
Trying to think if there's another happening in the Star Wars world that could tell us what year it is. But anyway, yeah, it's about that. So they've still got time. But anyway. Right. And then last thing for Star Wars. There was a ton of Star Wars Celebration. We're not even, scratching the surface. These are just shows and movies that were either confirmed or announced, whatever. Tales of the Jedi is getting a second season coming out next year, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We love all that stuff. So great. And then Return of the Jedi, to celebrate its 40th anniversary, 40th, correct? Yeah, 40th anniversary, is going back to theaters on April 28th. So
we going?
Yeah, we are, dude. If there is a theater around here showing it, I feel like theaters around here never do that. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be select theaters. But a cool thing, if you weren't alive in freaking 1983 and you want to see it in theaters with how it was intended to be seen, do not miss
THX.
THX.
They don't do it anymore, but that was.
But yeah, that's all the news we've got. So
yeah. So I mean, clearly, like we said, nothing that I have, but yeah, a lot more was announced and stuff. But that's just the goodies that we wanted to talk about. We could talk a whole podcast about it. So
sure could, my word.
But we're excited. I mean, we're getting what we want, and hopefully it pays off. For especially with movies, it's been so long. So I'm really genuinely excited. I mean, it sucks waiting so long, but also at the same time, it's perfect because you get the anticipation and they're working on it. They're not going to just turn it out real quick. So yeah, we'll see. But with that, you want to just jump in some Mando?
Let's do it. Mando,
okay.
Mando.
So now I've changed our official scale to the IGN score for the episodes released. So, because I feel like that's a better way of monitoring. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be how people feel, but usually they do pretty good on their scores. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah, they do great, I think. And they're nerds, so we can trust them.
So last week they gave that one a 6, which is fair. It was bad. This week's they're giving it an 8 out of 10, so that's pretty solid. So I loved the music in the very beginning of the episode. I thought it was very cool. I just remember listening to it. This is good music.
Yeah, it was very Blade Runner-y. Are you talking about on the lower levels of Coruscant? Right at the very beginning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right at the very beginning. Yeah,
very much like Blade Runner.
I loved it. And then we got Moff Gideon right in the beginning, which was really awesome. I think it was a very great way to start it. And it kind of tied into what was going on with, I wrote her name down. You remember off the top of your head? Is that the girl's name?
Elia Kane?
Yeah, Elia Kane. Yep. That's right. Kind of tied in why she was being so sketchy, because like we figured she was doing something with either Moff Gideon or we don't know who, but now it's official that we know that's why she was being so weird. Mm-hmm. And so I did good at tying all that stuff in the beginning. But what do you got for me?
Yeah, I really liked that, kind of tying that up in a nice little knot. One thing I wrote here is I didn't know Imperial probe droids were always that big.
Yeah, it was a big boy, dude. That thing was huge.
Yeah, like the one in Empire does not look that big.
No, it doesn't look that big at all.
Like, what?
But they're huge.
But I also did like that kind of tied up the pirates. It made sense why we had a couple episodes that featured them, because Moff Gideon was using them.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. I think it was a good way to tie everything in. I think it was, it was good.
Which, by the way, I don't want to jump ahead of us. Real quick. When he first walked past those troopers, which I thought were just upgraded dark troopers, I thought they were going to be droids again. But from the end of the episode, it seemed like they were actually humans wearing suits. I don't know.
Yeah.
But such a cool design. I freaked out when he walked past them. But what I was going to say is, speaking of tying things up, more was explained in his meeting with the ex-Imperial or the former Imperial officers. More story was fleshed out in those 3 or 5 minutes than the whole first half of the season, first
absolutely
episodes of the season, which is great. I was like, wow, this is awesome. But it was done in a pretty natural way where you didn't need a whole ton of exposition. It was all in an organic conversation. So
yeah, I agree. I think it did it. It did it in a way that wasn't, it was very perfect the way they did it. And yeah, like you said, we got so much more than we did in all the sequels combined. So awesome. And then in that same meeting, they mentioned Thrawn, which I thought was crazy. I'll full disclosure, I've not read the books. They're on my list. I need to, but that was something that I thought was cool, because I didn't think he would come into play with this, before the sequels. I would have thought he would have been more I don't know. So it's cool that we're going to get him even past, whatever happens with Ahsoka. Hopefully, or we'll see, of course. But cool. I thought it was super cool.
Speaking of the books, my friend in my class pointed this out to me, but one of the officers that was there is named Gilad Pelion. And apparently in the books, again, I haven't read them either. We're bad. We're bad boys. But apparently he's a huge character. He's like Thrawn's right-hand man. And he is mentioned briefly in Rebels. When I was looking it up, he is mentioned very briefly, and we hear his voice once. But very cool Easter egg and very cool reward for those that read the books. Another cool member of that council was, I think his name's Burndall Hux. General Hux's dad, General Hux from the sequel trilogy.
Oh, really?
He was in there. And another little Easter egg. This is not me. I found this somewhere. But he is... I noticed it was Hux because I watch it with subtitles because I'm hard of freaking hearing. But the guy that plays Burndall Hux is the brother of the actor who plays General Hux in the sequel trilogy. So pretty cool.
Is cool.
Yeah.
That is super cool. That's a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah. And by the way, little My Life Easter egg, I always forget that guy is in Star Wars. The General Hux actor, the Irish dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's actually Irish. But he's in About Time, which is a fantastic movie. He's in Ex Machina, which is one of my favorite movies. And I always, whenever I see him in something, like when I saw him in Ex Machina, I said to my wife, Grace, I said, look, that's the guy from Harry Potter, because she loves Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. She's like, he's also in Star Wars and About Time. And I'm like, what? But anyway, okay. Sorry, moving on.
That's cool. One thing it's a small note, is because the project's called Necromancer, and I put a note, I said, that is also the name of a balloon in BTD6.
Balloons, yeah, so. It is, and he is OP. That tower
Necromancer?
And balloons.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't play Balloons Tower Defense, this is sponsored by Balloons Tower Defense, by the way, so. No, play it. It's a fun game.
But yeah, Operation Necromancer. Necromancy is, necro means death. Mancy is magic, I think. Death magic. So it'd be called Operation Necromancy or Necromancer, whatever it was. That is an allusion to Palpatine's return and his project to be cloned after his death. So very cool. Mm-hmm. I do love, we give a lot of crap. Sorry, we're spending maybe too much time on this, but we give a lot of crap to that line in Rise of Skywalker where Poe is like, somehow Palpatine returned.
Right.
But then the line after that is cloning, the one random like Irish guy says, cloning, dark magic, secrets only the Sith knew. So this whole thing, both the Bad Batch and Mandalorian, that's taking care of the cloning that guy talks about. Necromancer, that would be referring to dark magic. So we're getting those, apparently dumb lines taken care of by these stories. So I think that's super great. Cool. Yeah.
Let's see. Grogu was adorable this episode.
I know. Gee whiz.
I loved him in the robot suit when he was communicating with the yes and no, and he was like, yes, yes, yes. I thought it was so cute and funny.
And Spencer and I were talking about this. Grogu's first word confirmed. No was his first word through the mouth of the former IG-11, now IG-12. So very, very cool.
Super cool.
Let's see. I was wondering, what is the point of using IG-11 or IG-12? Because the whole reason that Din wanted him was because he was like the only droid that Din Djarin trusted.
Right.
So to take out like his mind and everything that makes him
trustworthy,
gives him a personality, and just turning it into a vehicle for Grogu is kind of silly. But who cares? Yeah. It was cute and awesome.
It was cute, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like it kind of defeats the purpose. But maybe there's like an underlying story, like his Grogu's heart is better than IG. Whatever.
That's true. That's true. I was also thinking of how morbid that is, because we talk about like how droids are sentient and just cutting the middle out of this dude and putting a baby in it and letting him drive around.
So funny. Another thing I was gonna say real quick is it's funny, like Grogu isn't a baby, right? because he's hundreds of years old. But it is funny, like when a child finds something it likes for the first time, it repeatedly does it and over and again. That's just how children are. Like a baby will, if it like makes a noise, it'll keep pushing it because it likes it. And so it was funny to me that he just kept pushing the button because he liked it so much. Like when they're walking, he's just going ham. It's like, it's exactly what a child does. They love it.
Yeah.
So super funny.
So cute. Oh, gosh. Oh my gosh. One more thing about that is when the Unselin jumps out of IG-12 and Grogu reaches for him. He's like, no, bad baby, no squeeze.
Bad baby, no squeeze. And I'm like walking him at, as he's walking around him, he's like staring down to make sure he doesn't do anything.
I try to pretend I have some like refined taste, and I care about storytelling and all that stuff, which I do,
Mm-hmm.
But 2 cute little puppets walking around, man, that'll get me. It
is cute. It's cute. It's great. So the next part I have is when they're showing the Mandalorians. I don't know if you have anything in the middle between that, but as they're going to go talk to him, were they roasting the Shriekhawks? Did you notice that?
That's what I wondered, because I was like, where are they? Oh, well, I saw them cooking and they had like little wings,
Yeah, it was like a baby bird on it.
That might have been those things they caught earlier in the season. But they called them foundlings in that episode.
Yeah.
Like they referred to them as foundlings. So to just eat them is insane. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just, when I saw it, I was like, no way.
Well, where else would they have been, Like they killed its mom. They're either starving on their home planet or they're providing sustenance for the Mandalorians. I'm okay with either one.
Yeah, fair.
Great point, though.
I really did like the story building with how Moff Gideon had gotten the Darksaber when Bo-Katan is going in and she's talking about it, which I know I'm probably jumping a little ahead, but I thought that was such a perfect way because, we were always kind of like, well, how did he get this? It's all a huge hazy part. And like that, her storytelling was like, oh, that fills in a lot of holes and a lot of questions people had. I thought it was really awesome.
Yeah, it makes, it's just crazy how quickly they can address all of our concerns because we've waited years to find out how she lost the Darksaber. Like,
right.
We knew that she had it in Rebels and then we knew that she didn't have it 5 years later, 3 years later, maybe. Last season of Rebels was... Anyway, we waited years and years to find that out, and then they just, one little story from her, and it makes it right. So
it makes me feel stupid every time. We talk crap, and then they just answer so quickly. Especially because it's like this has already been planned out, and this has probably been in Dave Filoni's mind for years of how he's going to talk about it, so super funny.
Dave probably listens to our podcast every week, and he's like, these idiots don't even know it's coming,
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, shoot. What did you say? It made me think of something.
Story.
Okay, real quick. Going back from when she tells that story. So the new Mandalorians that they meet, it makes sense that there would still be Mandalorians like hiding on the planet, but it just hadn't occurred to me. Like when they showed up, I was like, oh yeah, duh, of course there's probably like a remnant here, but I just thought they had all fled. But did you notice one of those? So the main dude that they first meet, by the way, hot. I don't know the actor's name.
He's good looking.
Hot.
Yeah.
But the other dude with the beard, did you notice that Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad?
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Jesse's like really drugged out buddy.
Yeah,
the one that actually looks like he's on meth.
Yeah. No way. I didn't even occur to me, but that's super funny. That it's him. That's good.
But yeah, that has nothing to do with the episode. It's kind of cool.
Just a cool little actor. That's cool. That's really cool. I didn't know that.
I also liked in that same kind of exposition there, they have a direct reference to Death Watch because I don't think we've gotten that in The Mandalorian. Din's sect is the Children of the Watch. We knew that, and we had assumed because they were from the moon of Concordia that they were, the remnant of Death Watch or whatever. But it was cool to have it actually talked about. And the armorer says, Death Watch is no more. They split into a bunch of tribes pretty much, and we're one of those. So very cool.
Super cool, yeah. I also I was going to say I had something here. Oh, I love this line. The Mandalore is too powerful for any one enemy to defeat. It is our own division that destroys us. I was like, that is a really great line. And also going back to what the story with Moff Gideon, how she thought like, oh, if I give him what he wants, he'll go away, and he just bombed them all, still not caring. Is so good to his character of how evil he is, and how I just loved it.
Well, and then at the end, when he pops up, I'm getting ahead. When he pops up in like full Mandalorian armor and like the horns on his helmet, he's just a Mandalorian fanboy, you know? Like he studied the Mandalorians, he just wants to be them. So it makes sense that he would do everything to get the dark saber, and then want to be the most powerful Mandalorian, you know, and just destroy all the rest of them. So I thought that was awesome. Really builds to his character, like you said.
Super good. Yeah. Let's see.
There was one point where the original Mandalorian theme played, and Din like took off on his jetpack, I think, and it just like gave me chills. I was like, this feels like season 1, season 2, like good old Mandalorian. I hadn't really felt that this season, but I thought that was great. I liked the little signs of contention. Paz Vizsla fighting Axe Wolves over like that weird chess game.
Yeah. They're like having different rules for each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool too. I loved it.
Yeah, Axe is kind of a dick when he's like, these primitives make up their own rules for everything. Yeah. I was like, dude, I wouldn't take that.
Crazy. And I just love how like that's so like genuinely realistic. You take two people who like have, you know, they're gonna fight. They have different traditions, right? Super cool. And I also love that Grogu stopped the fight. It was really cool. So
no. But that's what I really do. I know I give The Mandalorian so much crap, but I do like this show because it balances, you know, seriousness and like it capitalizes on the cuteness of Grogu.
Right.
Like the Mandalorians are a war fighting culture, you know. It makes sense that nobody would step in. It would be inappropriate to step in and stop that fight. So they sit, you know, Grogu has to be the one to stop it, and he does it in a cute and kind of funny way, you know. Yes, just a great little balance.
And I didn't even expect him to do it. I don't know. I was like, oh, I wonder how this is going to end.
Yeah.
And then he stopped. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense because, you know, it couldn't be anyone else. So
right.
With that, I do like how they had, you know, Beskar armor, which totally explained the whole thing, you know, of who broke him out of the ship, who broke off Moff Gideon. So that explained it super well and really cool. Like makes a whole different fighting. Now they're fighting themselves again, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, when they first showed up, I mean, we all thought they were more Mandalorians that had just been there, you know? Right. So I loved their design too, especially because I don't know if you noticed it, but the visors kind of looked like they're moving towards the First Order stormtroopers, but it also looked like a mix, of course, of like Mandalorian T-bars. And it's really cool because the original design for Boba Fett was supposed to just be a specialized stormtrooper, I believe. So to see that kind of come full circle, that design is being used for a specialized type of Imperial trooper, very, very cool.
Super awesome. Love it. I do. It just, I mean, great. The costume design, not costume designs, the character designs, I guess I should say, but so cool. So dope. I really love it. This is what I was wondering. I don't think it's true because, I'll explain why in a second, but I was like, at first, for a second, I was like, I wonder if the armor like double crossed them. Like maybe that's why she told them to bring everyone together so that Moff Gideon could have them all in one place and just take them out. But I was like, probably not because he was going to bomb the fleet. I remember that was his plan. But then again, going back to his double crossing, what he did to Bo-Katan, it's not impossible. But it was just a thought. I don't think it's a thing. But I was like, I was curious. I'm like, the armor conveniently leaves when she doesn't go with them. And then she conveniently gets them all to come together so that they can go to their home planet where he's there so he can take, I don't know. It seems like it could, but yeah.
Here's the thing. I think you're 100% right. The episode is called Spies. The episode is called The Spies.
It is called
Who are the spies? It doesn't say. But if we had to guess, the Mandalorian with the freaking horns on her head, like the followers of Maul had at the end of Clone Wars.
Yep.
She's probably it. She would be the one in cahoots with Moff Gideon. And not only does she leave just at the right time, she says she has to take the sick back to the fleet, but she's also the one that says when they're back on Navarro, she's the one that says it's time to go to Mandalore. It's time to like start this mission.
Right.
So she had all the timing right. I mean, it's pointing to her. And who else would the spies have been?
Right. No, it has to be right. It's all unless it's conveniently all pointing right to the only other people who I could think maybe would be one of the Bo-Katan's original followers. Maybe they're sick of it and they're doubt it. But that's spies could imply maybe they have multiple spies who are Mandalorian. Not saying that there's any spies even with Moff Gideon, so it could be possible too.
Also, Elia Kane is a spy, so she can count for one spy.
It's true.
The armorer could count for a second. They could be the spies. I don't know though. I don't think that's a far-fetched idea at all. I think she would be. I wonder of her intentions, though. I wonder why she would be a spy. I do find it interesting. I was thinking about it a lot today because I had the same theory. When Bo-Katan first tells her that she saw the Mythosaur, and she's like super incredulous, and she's like, "Yeah, you've seen a vision. A lot of things happen. A lot of people see the Mythosaur visions." And then she finally starts to take Bo-Katan seriously. Next episode's a total 180. The armorer is like totally backing Bo-Katan to be the leader. So I wonder if maybe she has ambitions to, be in charge of Mandalore for whatever reason. And she wants Bo-Katan to lead like a suicide mission to retake Mandalore so that she can stay alive and be in power. I don't know. But.
Yeah. I if that is the case, I am curious to see why she would do it. I am. And because you're right, that does fit into the whole thing of her just like, oh yeah, you did. I believe you now. Like we talked about, nothing was elaborated on. Like that doesn't make any sense. And then yet she trusts her, makes her go get everyone, unite Mandalore to bring him. I don't know, dude. I can see it. I will see. We'll see next week. But
we will.
I'm excited because that's
so
next
cool.
week season finale, right?
Season finale, yeah. And I hope it's really long because this one was long. This was like 52 minutes. And I thought it was great. Like just the right amount of time to tell plenty of story. They could have been telling this whole story over the last 6 episodes, but it's no big deal, So I hope this last one's pretty long too, to just kind of put a tidy bow on it.
Yeah. Going on, I love like Paz Vizsla was super like a G for taking him on, and I loved when his gun overheated. I was like, that's exactly what would happen with him. Yeah, starts attacking him, and then when the Imperial Guards, is that their official name? That's always what I call them.
So these ones are Praetorian Guards.
Praetorian, that's what it is.
And that's actually a reference to the ancient Roman guard who guarded senators and everything like that, which is very cool.
I did not know that. Very cool. Them killing him was really good. Like it was like a pretty like graphic, not graphic because you can't see anything, but like the way it was like, and then like keep pushing down to go into his body past the armor. I was like, that's a good scene. That's a really good scene.
Dude, I love that too. And we talked about this last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. When Star Wars gets you to start spending more time with a character, especially one that maybe you haven't liked in the past, they're going to kill him.
Right.
Like we saw that with, spoiler alert, we saw that with Tech in the Bad Batch. A ton of episodes centered around him. He gets killed. This season of Mandalorian, Paz Vizsla stops being a dick and like starts being more humanized. He has a son. He starts supporting Din. He starts being like their main, pretty much the third guy that they can trust. Bo, Din, and Paz when they're running these little missions. And so to see him sacrifice like that, I love the fighting design too, or the fighting choreography, whatever. So overheats good. And he throws it, and then he like goes hand to hand.
Such a good scene, so good.
It's also done really well because in the beginning sequence, Moff Gideon requests those Praetorian Guards, and when he said 3, I was like, "That's kind of like why just 3? And what would he need them for?" Because we've seen, I believe, I'm not sure, this is probably expanded upon in books or comics, but the Praetorian Guards are the continuation of the Empire's guards, they have the same red design, whatever. But it's cool because we've seen them in that kind of context, but we've also seen them fight Kylo Ren and Rey at the end of The Last Jedi. And so we know how powerful they are. And so after Paz Vizsla beat all those other people,
I gotta clip that so I can cut it. Beats
we know he's dead. As soon as we see those red robes, we know he's dead. And I thought it was very cool. Their helmet design, it's kind of like the T-visor as well.
Yes.
Which kind of harkens back to the prequel Imperial Guard. Right? Anyway, same kind of helmet design. Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool. Oh, the rest I have is just a fantastic ending. I love the way it left. Good cliffhanger. Really excited to see how it goes on. I mean, Din, I guess we didn't even talk about it. Din got taken, right? Insane. Yeah. Like, that was so good. And, like, I love Din's a fighter, dude. He was not going down, dude. He kept pulling his arm, and they keep coming in. And took, how many were there? 6 or 7 freaking guys to take him down? So sick. So sick.
Yeah, it's great. And I really like the role reversal because the last couple seasons we've seen a lot of Grogu being taken from Din and him being helpless, and Din having to go in and rescue him. So I love the role reversal. It's going to be great.
Super good. Super good.
Do you think they'll kill him?
Din?
Yeah.
No. It would make for a crazy story, but a weak next season.
Yeah, it would. But yeah, that was great. One question I had, I was going to ask you about it, is why do you think, because last season we saw Moff Gideon using the Dark Troopers, right?
Right.
Is that what they're called? Am I saying that wrong? I always do this on this show.
I have them down as Dark Troopers as well, but I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, that's what he calls his suit. It's called a Dark Trooper suit, so.
Yes. And one quick detail, his suit design is so cool. The horns, he's obviously a Maul fanboy. I wondered what his role would have been like during the Siege of Mandalore. Like, did he actually know Maul? Did he just come across records of it afterwards on his time on Mandalore, or what? Like, why is he so obsessed? And I'd like to know how he got to that point.
That would be cool.
But yeah, I wondered why they made a transition from the droids, the Dark Troopers, back to humans. Because from what I understood is they were originally suits that were fitted around humans, and then the human was kind of phased out in favor of a Dark Trooper droid. And now we're back to humans with Beskar. So I just wondered what the reasoning was.
It could be. I mean, going off the Bad Batch, they just liked them more because, I mean, I know clones are not droids, they're totally different, but I mean, they just liked humans better because they could, I don't know, I feel like they could control them better. I don't know, the whole thing. So maybe the better fighters, I don't know, or they don't have to worry about malfunctioning. I mean, because that would be my one thing I'd be worried about with droids is like if someone could get in and somehow, like for example, going back to Phantom Menace, like they took out that ship, right? All the droids are done, right? They just all shut up.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a big power switch. So that'd be something I'm scared of. Like, how if someone could do that again? They probably have learned from their mistakes, right? And changed,
right?
But that'd be my fear.
Well,
hacking them so that they can go good.
Yeah, you know a lot about hacking, don't you?
Oh yeah, I'm a big boy hacker.
No, 2 things you just said made me realize probably why they do it. You made 2 great points. So the one is, last episode we saw how somebody can just take control of droids and turn them to their own desires, right?
Right.
So maybe that episode actually did have a purpose of foreshadowing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Second reason, like you said, maybe the humans are just better fighters. The last time we saw Dark Troopers was that epic Luke hallway scene.
Right.
They just got murked. They're just standing there,
Yeah.
But imagine these new troopers in the white Beskar armor against Luke. I mean, Luke would still solo. He's like crazy, but it'd be moving around, flying around, trying to get away.
Right.
So you make a great point. Yeah. Gideon probably saw that and made that transition.
He was like, "Oh damn, that Jedi boy can shred these guys." Man.
That's all I've got on the Mandalorian.
That is all I have on the Mandalorian. Crazy cookie.
But yeah, great. like I said, I need to repent for all the crap I was talking on The Mandalorian. This still wasn't like the perfect episode, but they told so much story in so little time. They addressed a lot of my issues, and it was well made. So, congrats, kudos to them.
Kudos. It was really, I mean, I wish we would have gotten there sooner, but I'm glad we got there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on that. Well, dude, I got a chance to spin the freaking wheel.
Oh my gosh, we're going to spin the wheel.
Are we going to freaking spin the wheel?
I didn't think we'd have time between Star Wars Celebration and this good long episode. I was like, we're going to be talking about this for 3 hours, but
let's get into it then, huh? Let me just add some new ones here. Because we don't have time to do the, I mean, we don't have the, what was I saying? Oh, the Anakin one. You never watched that video, right?
Oh, no. So
I was just taking that off.
Okay.
What were you saying?
Well, while you're finding that, I was just going to say who directed this one. It was Rick Famuyiwa, I think is his name. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly.
I think he committed a hate crime.
I know, probably. But he's directed a few episodes before. He directed Chapter 2, Chapter 6, Chapter 2, the Child, Chapter 6, The Prisoner, Chapter 15, The Believer, and this one, The Apostate. So, I mean, all of those episodes are pretty good.
Yeah,
so I like
you
that
should
guy.
just keep him on.
Yeah.
He's doing a fire job.
Seriously.
Alrighty, well, let's spin that
wheel. So bad. Okay, let's see here.
Something God. Oh,
ooh,
that's fun. We always talk about it. We always talk about this. So we're going to talk about the hate that the droid. We've kind of foreshadowed a lot of. Not foreshadowed. Talked about this a bit, so it won't be too bad because we don't have a lot of time, so it actually work out perfect. But droids, we've talked about this over and over again. They are mistreated, misloved. This wasn't originally brought to my attention until someone had, I forget, I wish I can give him credit. I don't know his name. My phone is recording, so I can't use it. But he talked about how droids are just looked at as just like nothing, right? They're so disposable. They can grab a new one. They don't care. Like going back to A New Hope, right? You see, that one droid, what's his name? R4? Is that his name?
Yes.
Malfunctions, and he's like, this is a crap droid. Give me a different one. Doesn't even regard it as anything. So droids are very much hated and not loved in the Star Wars universe. But go ahead, Austin.
Well, yeah, it's really sad. I mean, even within the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, we see, they can't go in the cantina at Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
We don't serve their kind here. Which, of course, is a reference to the civil rights movement and all that stuff. Yeah. But they're just seen as less than human. And it's gotten more sad as more lore has been added, Originally, C-3PO and R2-D2 were based on, I think, two characters in A Hidden Fortress by Akira Kurosawa. Same kind of deal. They were meant to be kind of a comedic relief, kind of funny, kind of different. But as we've gone through the Clone Wars, and especially the Clone Wars series, you see that droids have personalities and stuff, that they feel pain. You hear the B-1 battle droids saying "ow" all the time.
Yeah, ow.
It's man, they're just churned out to fight these wars. I can't remember the statistics, but the Republic is outnumbered like crazy, something like 20-1 droids to clones. And they all just get slaughtered all the time.
All the time. Just murdered.
And it's so sad because they never will be appreciated. People like you, who aren't intellectuals like me, hate the droid episodes of the Clone Wars, don't you?
Which is super funny you say that. I was about to bring that up. I was like, I think I need to go back after learning all this stuff about droids and the hate they get. I got to go back and watch the droid arc in the Clone Wars. So
yeah, you do,
because I hated those episodes. But maybe I need to go back.
So which one? Which one specifically? Are you talking the one where they're on that desert planet and they go find Drager and all that stuff?
Yes. Yep. That's the one I hated.
Yeah, you're delusional. That's insane. That's a great. I love that. And like, dude, Anakin always standing up for R2D2. You know, like R2D2 was genuinely Anakin's friend, probably his best friend. You know,
Yeah.
like he was nicer to him than Obi-Wan was. Right?
Yeah. Obi-Wan is so freaking mean to him. So mean.
So yeah, just understanding that they build real relationships, they have their own intentions. That being said, I don't know if I would ever want to see a droid-centric show or movie, because like after last week, we saw a potential droid rebellion. We saw like a cool droid bar. We got to see how they want to be useful, and I didn't care about any of it. Even though I love like talking about how droids are, you know, the sad part of the Star Wars galaxy. I don't care. Like, you know, would you if there's a Tales of the Jedi episode where there's a big rebellion of the droids and the Jedi have to go stop them, whatever, I don't know, they can base it any timeline they want. You wouldn't be curious for them to, you know, figure out what's going on, and they go to the head leader, and it's one. Oh my, just forgot their name. Ugh. I don't know. Droids. T-Series tactical droids.
There we go. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm strong suit is not remembering things. But you wouldn't like to see that, like, they try to figure out why the droids are rebelling, and you go to the top, and it's that droid commanding it all, and he's like, I just want to be loved. You don't think it'd be a cool story?
Dude, I think it would be a great story.
Anyways, but droids, they're so hated on, and they're just beings trying to get around, dude. And everyone hates them. Everyone's so mean to them. They're so nothing. And it's like, there's we gotta respect the droids, man. Especially for like in the Mandalorian, the episode we just saw, they freaking run everything. Like, you know, show some respect.
Dude, to that point, here's what I would love. Okay, you ready for this? You ever
seen? Me, baby.
I think you have the 1967 movie, Planet of the Apes.
Yes, I've seen it. It. Loved it. It's a great movie.
So spoiler alert if you haven't seen a 56-year-old movie. 56-year-old movie. But in that movie, these astronauts leave Earth, land on a planet, an alien planet, that the apes are the dominant species, and the humans are treated like cattle. And they're like, what's going on here? How'd this happen? At the very end, it's revealed that this is Earth. They traveled through time and not space, and they landed back on Earth after like this apocalypse, this nuclear war, and the apes took over. I would love if somehow they incorporated this, just a planet full of droids, run by droids, living in the society. They're not even aware of humans out there in the galaxy.
Okay.
And then we see it through the humans' eyes exploring this. They come to a droid-led planet, and the droids, same kind of deal. I would love that. That'd be great.
That would be cool. That would be good. They blow it all to hell. What does he say? I can't even remember.
Damn you. Damn you. You blow it up.
Yeah. I agree. That would actually be super sick. Dave, you could take that idea. We let you have it.
I'll text him tonight. But if you're listening or you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and comment or email us at Disciples of the Force, right?
Yep.
At gmail.com and say, hey, here's my idea for a droid-centric movie. And we'll, Spenny will produce it. You'll animate it, render it, everything. Okay. That'd be great.
I'll probably just get an AI to do it, but yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, perfect. Who cares?
No, yeah, for it'd be sick. I would love that. But bottom line is, you gotta respect the droids. All right, Star Wars, give them a little more love. Don't give us a movie about them. That's not what we're asking. We're just asking, you know, in whatever your future projects, don't be so mean to them. They have
that
feelings.
Would be, speaking of visions, that could be a cool visions episode. You know, non-canonical, short, focused around droids.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
But yeah, I mean, we could spend a whole episode talking about how sad it is. And we could do our homework and cite examples of when droids act human and show sentience. Like in Solo, Donald Glover, Lando, has a straight up relationship with this girl, you know?
I hate that.
And you bigot. But
well, how'd that even work, man?
It works. That's what they literally say that. How does it even work? And she turns and she says, it works.
No, it's not enough.
But I mean, yeah, like they're so close to human, it's indistinguishable, and they're treated like second-class citizens, which is a cool and common theme I love in Star Wars, like how the Empire only employs humans, nothing really outside of that. Very true to life. So I like that, but it is sad. So we could talk more about that another day.
But that, I think, with that, man, I think that's all I got for the day.
Okay.
Excited for the next projects. Great Mandalorian episode. Super excited for next week.
Me too. Okay. Well, thank you all for listening. As always, please share us with your friends, your family, whatever. We really appreciate your support.
Your dog, your cat, your fish. We don't care.
That's
as
right.
long as it's got a device, put us on it.
If we just sound like idiots, please let us know. Just let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what we can change, because we want to change for you.
I can't handle it.
But we really appreciate everybody that listens. So thank you.
So, yeah, for real. Well, 1, 2, 3. Thank you for being a disciple of the Force. I thought you were going to go quick.